An $18,000 engine failure before 23,000 miles wrecked a trusted Camry owner's finances, all because a hidden warranty loophole made his reliable car worthless overnight. He's not alone. Across America, 2025 models from brands everyone swears by are suffering catastrophic breakdowns before even hitting 30,000 miles, with repair costs that can swallow half your car's value in an instant. This is the shocking reality behind 35 cars that die. Before 30,000 miles, the supposed safe bets are turning into financial death traps at record rates, and the mechanics, data, and lawsuits prove it isn't rare. How did the cars we were told to trust become the riskiest gamble on the road? For decades, buying a brand new car meant buying peace of mind. The expectation was simple: drive it off the lot, keep up with maintenance, and you'd get at least 100,000 miles before anything major failed. But that promise is collapsing. In 2025, the evidence isn't just a handful of horror stories, it's a flood of hard data. Consumer Reports analyzed over 300,000 vehicles, and the verdict is clear. Catastrophic breakdowns before 30,000 miles are no longer rare. They're happening across every price point, from basic compacts to luxury SUVs, and no badge is immune. Owners describe the same shock. A car that felt solid and safe at 5,000 miles suddenly becomes undrivable at 18,000. The dashboard lights up, the engine coughs, then dies. Electronics freeze. For many, these failures happen with no warning and no pattern, except one. The car is still practically new. The survey data cuts through brand loyalty. Toyota, Honda, Ford, Jeep, Volkswagen, even high-end Genesis and Cadillac models are showing up on early failure lists. Reliability rankings have flipped upside down, with some of the most trusted names now facing waves of complaints. What's driving this collapse? The numbers point to a new era of complexity. Plug-in hybrids and electric vehicles, supposedly the future, are posting 42% to 70% more early life problems than old-school gasoline models. But the pain isn't limited to EVs' small turbocharged engines. Advanced transmissions and overloaded electronics are all ticking time bombs. Owners who followed every maintenance rule still find themselves stranded, staring at a repair bill larger than their remaining car payments. The betrayal runs deep. People trusted the brands, the warranties, the dealer promises. Instead, they're discovering that even a brand new car can be a financial trap. The scale of the problem is too big to ignore. Hundreds of thousands of drivers across every region and income bracket are facing the same gut punch. The car they counted on can die before it's even broken in. The numbers don't lie. This isn't just bad luck. It's an epidemic. A single breakdown before 30,000 miles can destroy a family's budget. The numbers are staggering. Across the 2025 model year, repair bills for early failures routinely eat up 30 to 50% of a car's trade-in value, sometimes more. Warranty-wise, tracking over 180,000 annual claims, reports that nearly 1 in 5 drivers faces a repair bill of more than $1,900 after a sudden failure. For many mainstream cars, that's almost half what the vehicle is worth on the used market. It's not just rare lemons or luxury outliers. A Nissan Juke owner with an 18-month-old car received a quote for £2,200 after a sudden engine control failure, while the trade-in value sat at just £4,500. One repair, and half the car's value was gone. The pain hits hardest when the part that fails is a core system, engine, transmission, or, in the case of electric vehicles, the battery pack. Replacing a traction battery can cost anywhere from $4,500 to over $15,000, not including labor. Modern infotainment modules and control computers ring up at $1,000 to $3,500. Even a single ADAS sensor, now standard on most 2025 models, can run $2,000 before labor. For owners who bought in expecting low running costs, the reality is a financial minefield. Middle-aged men often buying cars for both family and work, are especially exposed. They pay the price for reliability that doesn't materialize, sometimes draining emergency savings or taking on new debt just to keep a car on the road. Extended warranty sales tactics prey on this fear, with finance managers pointing to repair bills that can outstrip the down payment. The numbers are no longer theoretical. Industry analytics show that for some brands, average warranty claim costs now exceed $2,000 per vehicle in the first 3 years. For certain electric vehicles and luxury SUVs, that number climbs past $4,000. The result is a new kind of risk. Buy a car that fails early, and one breakdown can wipe out years of savings. Owners describe the aftermath as a financial shockwave, unexpected, overwhelming, and impossible to ignore. Brand loyalty used to be a shield. For decades, buyers counted on certain badges, Toyota, Honda, Ford, to deliver trouble-free miles and low ownership costs. But the latest reliability charts tell a different story. In the 2025 model year, brands that once topped every dependability survey now find themselves sharing the bottom with names once written off as risky bets. Warranty expense lines are shattering records, with some automakers spending more than $2,000 per car on early life claims, double or triple what used to be normal. The shakeup isn't limited to a single country or price bracket. Japanese, American, Korean, and European brands all appear on the early failure lists. Toyota and Honda, long considered untouchable, now face mounting complaints about hybrid battery failures and turbo engine breakdowns before 30,000 miles. Ford and Volkswagen, both global giants, have seen their latest models plagued by transmission and electronics issues that leave owners stranded. Even luxury marques like Genesis and Cadillac are fielding waves of warranty claims for engines and infotainment systems that simply quit far too soon. Year over year, the rankings have flipped. Consumer Reports and What Car both show that some of 2025's worst offenders were last decade's gold standards. The industry's own data confirms the reversal. Average warranty claim costs have soared past 8% of sticker price for certain models, while the historical norm hovered near 2%. That's not a blip. It's a wholesale collapse in the old order of trust. This isn't just about a few unlucky owners or obscure models. The epidemic cuts across the entire market, from compact sedans to high-end crossovers. Brands that built their reputations on outlasting the competition are now scrambling to explain why their newest cars can't even reach 30,000 miles without a major failure. The badges on the grille no longer guarantee safety or savings. For buyers, the message is clear. No nameplate is safe, and yesterday's safe bet could be tomorrow's financial disaster. Sarah's story begins on a flat stretch of I-70 outside Kansas City, hands steady on the wheel of her 2025 Jeep Wrangler. The odometer read just over 13,000 miles, barely broken in by any standard. Then, without warning, the steering wheel jerked violently side to side. The whole front end began to shudder so hard, she thought the tires would rip clean off. Drivers behind her scattered as she fought to keep control. One wrong move, and the Wrangler could have veered into oncoming traffic. She gripped the wheel, heart pounding, as the shaking only worsened. At 70 miles an hour, a few seconds felt like a lifetime. The phenomenon has a name. Jeep owners call it the death wobble. It's a sudden, uncontrollable vibration that can strike at highway speed, often after hitting a small bump or pothole. For Sarah, it was a nightmare come true. She managed to steer onto the shoulder, hands numb and knuckles white. The shaking stopped, but her confidence in the vehicle was shattered. Later, she learned she wasn't alone. Thousands of Wrangler drivers have reported the same terrifying experience. Some say the wobble started as early as 10,000 miles, others not until 40,000. The common thread: it can happen out of nowhere, and it's nearly impossible to predict. Mechanics and engineers point to a flaw in the Wrangler's solid front axle and steering geometry. Loose track bars, worn tie rods, or even a slightly out-of-balance tire can trigger the violent oscillation. Industry estimates suggest nearly 192,000 Jeep owners nationwide have dealt with the death wobble. The fix isn't always simple. Sometimes it's a quick part swap, but many owners face repeated repairs, new dampers, bushings, even full suspension overhauls. For Sarah, the first repair bill was $1,300. The dealership replaced the steering damper and tightened the suspension, promising the problem was solved. But the fear lingered. Every highway drive became a test of nerves. Sarah started avoiding long trips, dreading the next jolt. She kept every receipt, every service record, just in case. The dealership assured her the repairs were covered, but she heard stories of other owners denied warranty help for modifications or insufficient maintenance. Stellantis, Jeep's parent company, has never issued a full recall for the death wobble. Instead, they rely on technical service bulletins and case-by-case fixes, leaving drivers in limbo. For Sarah, the death wobble wasn't just a mechanical failure. It was a betrayal. She bought the Wrangler for its reputation, trusting it would keep her safe. Instead, every drive became a gamble. When a car can lose control at 70 miles per hour, the risk isn't just financial. It's life or death. And for thousands of owners like Sarah, the nightmare can begin before the car even sees its first oil change. Sarah's relief after that first $1,300 repair was short-lived. 2 months later, the death wobble slammed back without warning, this time on a crowded overpass, with her 7-year-old son in the back seat. The same violent shaking, the same scramble for the shoulder, but this time, no traffic gap to escape into. After 20 minutes waiting for a tow, she called the dealership, desperate for answers. Their response: bring it in, but don't expect coverage if the problem was caused by improper use. The Wrangler sat in the service bay for 4 days. The verdict? Another round of suspension parts, another $800 in labor. The warranty, Sarah was told, didn't apply because the technician found evidence of aftermarket tires, the same tires the dealer sold her at purchase. When she pushed back, the service manager cited a clause in the fine print: modifications or non-OEM parts may void coverage. No appeal, no goodwill gesture. The bill was hers. That month, Sarah missed 2 weeks of work. She worked as a freelance designer, paid by the project, and every lost day meant another bill she couldn't cover. Her husband's truck was their only working vehicle, but his job required long commutes. For days, she juggled ride shares, borrowed cars, and the constant anxiety of falling behind. The Wrangler, barely past 15,000 miles, was already draining their savings. The dealership's stance was absolute. Any hint of owner responsibility, a missed oil change, a non-dealer part, a lapsed service interval, became grounds for denial. Sarah gathered every receipt, every invoice, but it didn't matter. The warranty booklet was a maze of exclusions. She found online forums filled with stories just like hers: coverage denied for insufficient documentation, environmental damage, or wear and tear. One owner posted a photo of a $2,400 repair quote, stamped "not a manufacturing defect." Another described being told that a slightly bent tie rod from a pothole, an everyday hazard, meant the entire steering system was off limits for warranty help. By 28,000 miles, Sarah's Wrangler had cost over $4,000 in repairs and lost income. She called Jeep's National Customer Care line, only to be told that all warranty determinations are final at the dealer's discretion. The sense of betrayal was overwhelming. She'd bought the Jeep for its reputation, paid extra for peace of mind, and now felt abandoned by the very brand she'd trusted. For families like Sarah's, the financial fallout is more than a number on a bill. It's canceled vacations, late rent, and the gnawing fear that the next breakdown could push them over the edge. The fine print, those lines buried in warranty booklets, turns a mechanical flaw into a personal crisis. Dealers and automakers hide behind policy, while owners are left to pick up the pieces. The promise of reliability, once ironclad, now feels like a cruel joke. And for every Sarah, there are thousands more, learning the hard way that the real cost of a car that dies before 30,000 miles isn't just measured in dollars. It's measured in lost trust, lost time, and lost security. Automakers no longer gamble with reliability. They calculate it. Behind closed doors, teams of engineers and accountants weigh every cent spent on parts against the risk of a warranty claim. The result? Vehicles that perform beautifully during test drives, then fail just far enough down the road to keep most owners on the hook. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's the logic of modern manufacturing, laid bare in quarterly reports and supplier contracts. Consider the price difference between what a part costs to build and what it costs you to replace. A transmission control module might cost the factory less than $10 to produce, but when it fails, the owner faces a $1,200 bill because it's sealed inside a larger unit that can't be repaired, only swapped out whole. The same pattern repeats across the industry. Infotainment modules, battery control units, even basic sensors. Each is designed as a single-use component, easy to install on the assembly line, but nearly impossible to fix in the field. For the manufacturer, it's a win-win: lower assembly costs, higher profits on replacement parts, and a steady stream of service revenue. Industry insiders are blunt about the incentives. One analyst told us, "The sweet spot for failure is just after the warranty ends. That's when the customer pays, not the automaker." Supplier contracts now specify minimum durability targets that align with the warranty window, often 36,000 miles or 3 years. Anything beyond that is considered excess cost. In practice, this means parts are tested to survive the warranty period, not a mile more. When failures do occur early, the blame game begins. Dealers point to maintenance lapses, owners argue over fine print, and the manufacturer quietly tracks every claim, adjusting future contracts to shave costs even tighter. The rise of predictive analytics has only sharpened this focus. Automakers use real-time data from millions of vehicles to identify which parts are likely to fail and when. If a component starts to show higher than expected claims, the response isn't always to improve the design. Sometimes it's to tweak the warranty language or push extended warranties at the point of sale. Sales managers are trained to highlight the risk. One repair could cost more than your down payment. The fear is real because the numbers back it up. Extended warranty profits now rival those from financing and accessories in many dealerships. Executives defend these practices as necessary for survival in a hyper-competitive market. Margins are razor thin, and every dollar saved on parts is a dollar added to the bottom line. But the consequences play out in the lives of buyers who trusted the promise of durability. When a car fails at 28,000 miles, the owner pays the price, literally and emotionally. The industry's own data shows that warranty claims are spiking, but instead of fixing the root cause, companies double down on cost control. The result is a system where reliability is carefully rationed, and every extra mile is a risk the automaker would rather you take than them. The profit motive isn't hidden. It's baked into the design and the sales pitch. For the average driver, that means the odds are stacked against you from the moment you sign the paperwork. The badge on the hood might promise peace of mind, but the contract in the glove box tells a different story. And as warranty expenses soar, the pressure to cut corners grows. The bottom line? The car you buy today is engineered to survive just long enough to keep the automaker in the black. After that, you're on your own. Turbocharged engines, sealed transmissions, and fused electronics have turned today's cars into rolling complexity traps. What looks like progress, more power, better fuel economy, smarter tech, often hides a cluster of new vulnerabilities. Field mechanics see it every week. Engines that run hotter than ever, transmissions that can't be serviced, and control modules that fail without warning. Take the latest generation of small turbo engines. On paper, they deliver the punch of a V6 with the efficiency of a 4-cylinder. But according to design engineers, these engines generate extreme thermal loads. Oil temperatures routinely soar past 260 degrees Fahrenheit, and under heavy acceleration, critical components, like turbo bearings and injector seals, face heat spikes that older engines never encountered. An engineer from a major supplier put it bluntly: "We're seeing parts designed for 150,000 miles fail before 30,000 because the thermal envelope is just too tight." The problem isn't just heat. Modern transmissions, especially the so-called sealed-for-life units, are another weak link. Owners are told there's no need to change the fluid, but field data tells a different story. Once a clutch pack or valve body fails, the entire transmission must be replaced. There's no drain plug, no service kit, just a 4-figure bill. For a 2025 Hyundai Kona, a failed dual-clutch transmission means a $7,000 swap. No repair, no rebuild, just a new box shipped from the factory. That's become the industry standard. Whole unit swaps instead of part-by-part fixes. Electronics bring their own set of headaches. In the past, a faulty window switch meant a quick swap at the dealer. Now, dozens of functions are fused into a single body control module. When a $12 relay fails, the owner gets a $2,000 invoice because the entire module is fried. Infotainment systems, advanced driver assistance sensors, and even basic lighting controls are all managed by integrated units designed for easy assembly, but not for repair. EVs and hybrids add another layer. Battery management systems, charging controllers, and integrated power modules are often built as sealed units. When a software bug or a minor hardware fault takes out the charging controller on a Hyundai Ioniq 5 or a Ford Mustang Mach-E, the only fix is to replace the entire module. Field techs report that software updates sometimes work, but recurring failures often require full hardware swaps, sometimes more than once before the car hits 20,000 miles. Supplier engineers say the root cause is the relentless push for tighter packaging and lower costs. Thermal management is an afterthought, with minimal cooling for parts that live in engine bays hotter than a pizza oven. One engineer described the approach: "We design for the warranty period. If it survives 36,000 miles, that's a win. Anything after that is someone else's problem." For owners, the result is a car that can fail big and fail early, with no option but to pay for an entire assembly. The badge might promise reliability, but the design leaves no margin for error. Once a critical part goes, the repair bill can wipe out years of savings. And as every new model adds more tech and more complexity, the odds of an early, expensive failure only grow. Electric vehicles were supposed to end the reliability debate for good. No oil changes, no exhaust, just smooth, silent miles. But the reality for many early adopters has been anything but peace of mind. The 2025 Chevrolet Blazer EV, launched with fanfare and promises of bulletproof engineering, has become a cautionary tale. Drivers report their cars going dark without warning, sometimes in the middle of a highway lane. One owner described the sequence: warning chimes, a dash full of error lights, then total loss of power and steering. The car locked itself in place, refusing to reboot. The dealer's diagnosis pointed to a fault in the high-voltage battery management system, a problem that software updates couldn't fix. The only solution? A full module replacement, with the car sidelined for weeks. GM issued a stop sale order in early 2024, scrambling to patch the software, but the underlying hardware glitch still haunts some vehicles. The same story echoes through the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and Genesis electrified models. Owners describe sudden shutdowns, locked charging ports, and error codes tied to the Integrated Charging Control Unit, or ICCU. On paper, The ICCU manages power flow between the battery, charger, and motor. In practice, a design flaw in early units means heat builds up faster than the system can handle. The result? Abrupt loss of propulsion, sometimes at 70 miles per hour. Hyundai and Genesis have issued multiple service bulletins and even replaced thousands of control units, but Consumer Reports still rates these models as less reliable than the average new car. The Ford Mustang Mach-E adds another chapter. Its high-voltage battery contactors, essentially giant electrical switches, are prone to sticking open or failing outright. When that happens, the car can go from full speed to dead stop in seconds. Field technicians say aggressive regenerative braking in certain drive modes puts extra stress on these contactors. Ford tried rolling out over-the-air software updates, but many owners still found themselves towed to the dealer for full hardware swaps before hitting 20,000 miles. NHTSA complaints document dozens of these incidents, some involving near misses on crowded highways. Across the board, the pattern is clear. Sudden power loss, immobilization, and charging lockouts are not rare outliers. They're recurring failures in some of the most hyped EVs on the market. The fixes often start with software patches, but for many owners, the only permanent solution is a full replacement of the affected module or control unit. And even then, new error codes sometimes appear, hinting at deeper design flaws. Industry engineers blame a mix of rushed development, cost-cutting, and the relentless push for more features in tighter packages. Battery management, thermal control, and high-voltage switching are all areas where a single weak link can take down the entire car. As one EV repair specialist put it, you can't just reboot your way out of a hardware problem. For buyers lured by promises of low maintenance and high-tech safety, the reality is a new kind of risk. One where a car that's supposed to last a decade can strand you before the first set of tires wears out. The badge may be new, the technology cutting edge, but the cost of failure is measured in both dollars and trust. Gear set fractures, piston slap, and sudden transmission failures have become routine for owners of new gas and diesel vehicles. The warning signs are subtle: a faint tick from the engine, a brief slip in the transmission, until the damage is done. For thousands, the first real clue comes with a call from the service department. The engine is ruined, the gearbox is finished, and the cost to repair is more than the car is worth. GM's full-size trucks and SUVs, including the Silverado, Sierra, and Tahoe, illustrate the risk. Their 5.3-liter and 6.2-liter V8s have been plagued by connecting rod-bearing failures, sometimes before 25,000 miles. Engines seize without warning, often at highway speeds. GM's warranty records show over 28,000 complaints in 3 years, but many owners still fight for coverage. Lawsuits claim GM knew about the defect, yet instead of recalling the vehicles, the company issued a series of technical service bulletins. For those out of warranty, an engine replacement can cost $7,000 to $12,000, wiping out any remaining value in the vehicle. Hyundai and Kia owners face similar nightmares. Their GDI and turbo engines have sparked multiple class action lawsuits over engines that seize, burn oil, or catch fire before 30,000 miles. The culprit? Metal debris left in the crankcase during manufacturing, leading to oil starvation and catastrophic piston or bearing failure. Owners endure months of legal battles, rental car expenses, and repair bills that often exceed $8,000. Even when settlements arrive, they rarely cover the full loss. As one attorney described it, the engine is a ticking time bomb and the warranty clock is always running. Transmission failures are just as unforgiving. Modern automatics, packed with delicate clutches and sealed electronics, offer no second chances. The Ford Maverick Hybrid and Jeep Wrangler's 8-speed transmissions have landed on early failure watch lists. When a clutch pack or valve body fails, the entire transmission must be replaced. No rebuilds, no shortcuts. For a 2025 Nissan Frontier, a failed transmission means a $6,000 bill and weeks without a vehicle. Dealers often blame driving habits or missed maintenance, but internal documents point to design flaws and cost cutting. Gear set fractures, poor heat treatment, and undersized bearings are common causes. Piston failures cut across brands. BMW's N63 V8, known for its hot V layout, generates so much heat that injector seals and valve guides fail before 30,000 miles in 85% of engines, according to European service data. Repairs are costly and often denied under warranty as normal wear. Cadillac CTS and Genesis G70 owners report similar stories: engine knock, power loss, and denied claims. Even owners who follow every service schedule can find themselves stranded, facing repair bills that rival the price of a used car. Warranty fine print allows manufacturers to deny claims for minor lapses. Owner forums and class action headlines fill with stories of families sidelined by mechanical disasters before their first set of tires wears out. Reliability, once a given, now feels like a gamble. In 2025, industry data confirmed that some repair bills for early failing cars reached over half the vehicle's trade-in value before 30,000 miles. The 300,000 owner surveys and warranty filings exposed a pattern. Both trusted and new automakers saw record-breaking warranty costs and a sharp rise in premature breakdowns. Expert analysis pointed to cost-cutting and complex engineering as key causes, with field reports showing that whole unit replacements, like a $1,200 module for an $8 part, are now standard. Yet, no public record fully explains each brand's internal decision-making or the true scale of engineering shortcuts. What remains hidden is whether manufacturers will address these failures, or if more critical documents are still sealed. The evidence is clear. No badge guarantees long-term reliability, and buyers face unprecedented financial risk. As documented, early obsolescence is now an industry-wide reality. The facts demand greater transparency and scrutiny from both manufacturers and regulators.